Hello everyone, Dice here, and the BYSTIAL cards recently came out alongside the new branded support like Cartesia. I've been having a lot of fun with this variant of the deck. It previously struggled in the Tearlaments matchup, but now we definitely stand a much better fighting chance. I'm running a pretty similar deck list to pretty much what everyone else is running. I'd say the biggest difference would be I'm running Perskinian, since you could summon it off the Grangonal, as well as Gold Sark. I haven't seen too many people running it. It's really just Foolish Burial, but I like running the Sark because with 2 opening and 2 Aluber, we just don't have enough starter cards. I want to make sure we have as much starter cards as possible to get our plays running. And so yeah, that's it. With that out of the way, let's get into the replays. Right, so for this first duel, we start things off with just Foolish Burial, get a starter card going. We could still play with Cartesia and Albaz in hand and Branded Lost, but still want to be able to do all this, the Aluber combo. And we get hit with a Maxi. Now, usually Maxi, I just Mirror Jade Pass, but that gives them 2 draws. So for this one, I went Rindbrum Pass, giving him just 1 draw. I know it's not the best end board, but it's what I'm gonna have to end it on here, unfortunately. I do grab an Albion off the Branded Lost, use its effect to send a Retribution. Luckily, I draw into a Fusion, so I was gonna use Retribution, grab Fusion back, but we don't really need it with Fusion already in hand. We are going up against Tearlaments, and they use the usual Tearlament combo of Scream and Merly to mill 6. But luckily, I have a BYSTIAL in hand to stop his fusion, and he has a second Maxi. So he's gonna get another draw after all. He does have a Shiren and is able to mill 3 and trigger another fusion, as well as Reinhardt. He does send the Crime he has, so he's able to pick up his banished Tearlament. He's also chain blocking so that I can chain Rindbrum to his Kit Kalos. And he picks up a Tearlament Crime off the Kit. Kit's effect, he activates it, which I'm not sure he should have done, but regardless, I'm able to negate his effect and then send her back to the extra deck. It doesn't completely stop Tearlament, but it does stop his plays right here, and he has to go through the effort of summoning her again with the newly released Tearlaments support, Sprite Sprint. Yep, sends a Merly and is able to bring back the Kit Kalos. And he sets 3 and passes. I have to respect the Crime that he searched out, as well as any other trap, so I have to be very careful. He does just immediately shotgun Suliek. Luckily, I drew into a BYSTIAL, so I'm able to banish the Kit Kalos. Now, normally you would want to wait until they mill a fusion effect, a tier name, but I decided to just banish Kit early, so since they might just put her back into the extra with a shuffler. He does mill a shuffler though, so I was definitely right to banish Kit Kalos early. Again, banishing Kit Kalos doesn't completely stop them, and if they did mill a what do you call it, Swamp King, assuming they're playing it, I mean, then they're able to just completely ignore that play. He does have Exchange of the Spirit in the graveyard, which is really annoying. He shuffled back a few cards in my grave, but I let it go since it's none of the things he shuffled back are things I really care about. I'm not really sure why he did that. Shufflers are now very limited. You went from 5 shufflers to just 2, so you have to really be careful with them. And his Shiren triggers, getting a Mud Dragon, which I mean, I guess he could use it to make his Kaleido Heart untargetable. He does use Kaleido Heart to target Branded Lost, meaning that now fusions can be negated now. Unfortunately for him, he helped me mill BYSTIAL Lobelian. Now Sarenair triggers, but fortunately he has to call by the grave for that. I'm not sure what the other trap is. I don't think he uses it in this replay. So yeah, now that his plays are all done, it's time to actually play the game. So BYSTIAL Lobelian, get back to Branded Lost. I put Regained in the graveyard. He immediately uses Keldo to try to put Regained and several other cards back into the deck, but I use Retribution to get Regained back. Yeah, not really sure why he just shotgunned the Shufflers. I think he could have saved them for something a bit more impactful, but yeah. What can you do? Regardless, I set up my Pendulum Scales of Branded Lost and Branded Regain, activate Branded Fusion, and from there we start playing. Because thanks to Branded Lost, he can't respond to anything we're about to do. Chainlink 1, Diffuse, and Chainlink 2, Branded Lost. Always do it in that order so that your Branded Lost still protects your yourself from being chained to. I go into Lobelian by banishing Tragedy and Albas in the grave. And I use Regained to target the Tragedy to put it back and get a draw. And Tragedy also gets me a Despia, which I picked Elber. I think I could have gotten away with something else, but regardless, I don't think it really matters because from here we pretty much just go and start winning. We summon Mirror Jade and we toggle on immediately after Mirror Jade so that he can't respond to Mirror Jade's effect. And from there, he doesn't have any Tearlaments left on board, so his Crime is dead. And Aluber lets us extend further. He realizes he's very far behind on card advantage, and he scoops it up. Right? Pretty good. On to the next game. Now, this is a mirror match against a 60 card deck, and you're probably wondering, why did you show a replay where you're playing against a 60 card Brickfest? Don't worry, this has a pretty interesting things going on in this duel. I used Lobelian to search for a Magna Hut, use Albion's effect, dump Retribution, draw, grab a Super Poly, pretty good. He does have Maxi, but luckily this time I do have the Called By to take care of him. Right? And the Cartesia effect triggers, allowing me to summon a Granganol. He does have the BYSTIAL in hand, so he banishes my Lobelian. And use Granganol to dump Sarenair. Sarenair will dump a Branded Spell card for me, and Granganol will be able to summon a Despia from my deck, from my extra deck I mean, due to his because the opponent did summon a monster via monster effect. His Regained that does target my Lobelian, puts it back in the deck, and he gets to draw a card. I summon Quaritus this time in case he has any way to get rid of it. I can still keep playing by summoning an Albaz. I dump Fusion. Branded Retribution gets the Fusion. And from here we can actually play the game as we intended. I dump Lobelian that he put back into the deck and a Fallen of Albaz to go into my Albion. And Albion banishes Sarenair and Albaz to go into Lobelian. From here, I simply dump the Branded Red. I don't really need it in this matchup. Put it back the Albaz. I can go into Mirror Jade. Now, unfortunately for me, he does have the Super Poly set, so he does get rid of the Quaritus and the Mirror Jade into his own Quaritus. Although then my Quaritus triggers allow me to summon an Albaz from deck, and a chain block with Mirror Jade because I have no idea what else he has. I dump Super Poly since I don't have enough cards to make this work. And I go into Drago's Stapilia. Now, I could have gone into a Mirror Jade, but I think if he is going to summon something off the Quaritus, and Drago's Stapilia does make sure I take care of whatever he summons. If it's an Albaz, Mirajay can take care of it no matter what, but if it's a Aluber, then it doesn't really matter if he gets banished. Yep, he does summon the Aluber, and I counter him with Dragostapelia. Now with the Rebellion that's in my graveyard, I tribute the Albion to summon him. And I activate a Branded Regained. Now, reason I do that is because since Branded in Red is now in the graveyard, my only copy of Branded in Red, I use Albion to set a Branded Beast. Because this time around, I just don't have too many cards, so I have to play more control-based. Yep. He's able to go off into the Branded in Red, and he does go into a Masquerade. Yeah, now here I make a mistake because his Regain targets Albion, but I use Regain to target Tragedy because I thought he targeted Tragedy. Sorry, I was very confused here. I also use the other Regained effect to be able to bring back the Magna Hut. And I use Branded Beast to immediately take care of his Masquerade because I don't want to keep getting burned for every effect. And he gets to draw 2, and he still has a normal summon. That's fun. However, the Aluber is one of the effects. Now see, his Aluber is one of the effects. So he activated the Aluber in Grave. He can't activate the Aluber in Hands effect. He is going to negate my Dragostapelia, which is annoying. And he does bring back BYSTIAL Baldrake. He normal summons Fallen of Albaz, but unluckily for him, I have the Crossout Designator to completely put a stop to that. Now, in hindsight, what I could have done here is use the Branded Regain to put the Albaz I just banished back into my deck and draw a card. But I guess it doesn't really matter too much in this matchup. I'm able to search out Baldrake thanks to the Magnamut effect earlier. Banishing his final BYSTIAL, and he realizes he essentially has nothing left, and I'm able to just keep controlling the duel. He scoops it up. On to the next game. Now, this was my rank up game, and things get pretty wacky in this one. I'm going up against Dragon Link, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm not very familiar with this deck, so if I end up ashing the wrong thing, or BYSTIAL banish the wrong thing, then you know why. He does go into Striker Dragon, and his Wyver Buster chain blocks him, so I can't ash the Striker. And he goes into the Romulus. Romulus will let him get the Dragon Ravine. However, it is once again chain blocked. So, again, I can't dash. So now he has both field spells in hand and several other cards I don't know about. He uses Chaos Space to get Wyvern Buster back in the deck and draw a card. He sends an Absorouter into the graveyard and picks up a Rocket Synchron. And he does try to bring it back, but I use BYSTIAL Saronir because I think, okay, 7-1, that makes a Chaos Ruler. I don't want him to get to that, so I have to put a stop to it. However, he does have the Boot Sector launch, and he also has a Quick Launch, which I try to ash, but as it turns out, he has a Quick Effect summon from the deck. So, yeah, that's not very good for me. Let me know in the comment section if I ashed the wrong thing, or how would you have played it out if you were in this duel. And he goes into Chaos Ruler anyways, and is able to generate a whole lot of advantage here. Saronir dumps Lobelion, and then Chaos Ruler gets tributed off for Lobelion, and he could just simply bring back the Chaos Ruler by banishing 2 cards. He has more than enough banish fodder. And he links all of these off into a Boral End. This lets him bring back a Rocket Synchron, and he goes into Archfiend Abyss. Now he has two very strong monsters on board. Fortunately for him, I'm gonna just Super Poly his board into the Garura. Thank you, Garura. Also, if I had Albaz, I could have just set him face down and tributed off, since I am running the Alba Lanatus. Fortunately, I don't think I ever get Albaz in my hand in this entire duel. I try to fusion deployment, it gets ashed. Feels bad. I go in the battle phase, not much left. And I use Saronir to dump a card. I already dumped Retribution earlier off the Albion in hand, so I use Retribution to get my fusion that I dumped off the Saronir. And from here, I can go into a Lebellion and Albaz into a Albion. Unfortunately, he has the Imperm. Now, you see, I made a mistake here, and I summoned the Lebellion in attack. I should have summoned him in defense, since I didn't think he'd be able to make a comeback. I used Branded. I pick up a Branded Lost and a Branded in red. But, yeah. In hindsight, I think I could have done better with my own Regained, as well as a Branded Beast. Yeah. Ultimately, I do. It doesn't end up mattering in the long run, but not enough that it costs me the game. So, I see that he's trying to search for a BYSTIAL, so I just panic and immediately try to brand it in red, get my Mirror Jade out. He gets Druid Swarm. Yeah, I keep forgetting, however, that he has Regained, and Regained not only lets him draw a card and put any banished card back into the deck, but he also gets to summon a BYSTIAL. I do get my Mercurier off the Lost, so if he tries to summon anything, I will immediately just negate with Mercurier. He is able to get Lebellion. I immediately just banish him. I don't want him to get Beast or anything else. Use Mercurier, so make sure that Albion's effect goes through in the end phase. He does use the Boot Sector launch and gets two rockets on board. And his other card is Quick Launch. Man, he is so good at this game. Goes into Striker Dragon effect to bring back a Rocket Synchron to the hand. And now he gets to bring back Boral End. And as if that wasn't enough, he also gets a Borreload Savage. Now he has a Monster Negate that can't be responded to, as well as an Omni Negate. And increased attack on him. Boral End can also attack every monster once. So, yeah, that's, once again, should have put Lebellion in defense. It wouldn't have made too much of a difference, but it would have helped my life points not get too dangerously low, as you'll see soon enough. He also goes into a Twin Triangle Dragon, and at first I freak out because I think he brought back the Abyss, but he can't attack this turn, and his effects are negated, so I do survive, fortunately. Try to Mirror Jade, but Borreload Savage puts a stop to that. And he attacks with these two, and my life points get very, very low. Albion gives me a Branded Fusion, and I need to make sure all this goes off, or else things are about to get really bad for me. Okay, I just, once again, Super Poly. Thanks to him, my Garura's back, so I can simply make a Garura again. Branded Lost lets me search for a Cartesia. Cartesia, I summon her. And before Baldrake comes up, I chain Cartesia effect, fuse with the Garura. Now, if I put Chainlink 1 Garura, draw a card, and Chainlink 2 Dragonal to dump a monster. I dump the Albion. Use Branded Fusion to dump Tragedy and Albaz into make Lubellion. Thanks to the draw, I have discard fodder for him. Now, I already normal summoned this turn, so I don't know. Maybe Aluber was a mistake. Regardless, I put Mirror Jade back to make Mirror Jade number 2 with Lubellion. Yeah, I still don't have enough damage for game here, so I just try to wipe his board, use Mirror Jade's effect in battle phase to get rid of his Abyss. Unfortunately, I keep forgetting his Regained. He draws a card, and now Abyss is recycled. It's just not very good for me. I did what did I put with Mirror Jade? I put Rinbrum, which will help me summon an Albaz in his turn. Unfortunately for me, he draws into a Super Poly. Now, I'm not sure if that was the correct choice to get rid of these two, but I guess he just wants to get rid of as many monsters as possible at this point. He just I'm very low on life points. He just wants to make sure the game is over. Dragonol can still activate in the graveyard, which lets me bring back the monster that will change everything. It is the Praskinian. Again, I could have summoned him in defense, but I guess it doesn't really matter too much. Well, I guess it does matter, but I just keep misplaying. I do try to Rinbrum to bring back Albaz so I can fuse with his board, but unfortunately he draws into the called by. And I just can't do that. He tributes a BYSTIAL for Lubellion and uses the Druid Swarm to get rid of Mirror Jade. Mirror Jade's effect will destroy every monster in the end phase, so what does he do? He goes into IP Masquerena. His extra deck is very low. And from here, he just goes into an Undestructible Access Code with over 4,000 attack. Now here, normally I can't respond to any of Access Code's effects, but if I toggle on immediately after he finishes effects, I can bring back any monster in his graveyard as long as it's a Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, or Link. So what do I choose to bring out? The one thing that will protect me from being KO'd this turn. A Borderland Dragon. The Borderland cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. He tries to destroy Praskinian with one effect. I use Branded Opening to protect him. Fortunately, he has enough Link monsters in the grave to just destroy him. He swings into the Borderland, which puts me very low, but still in the game. I activate Cartesian Hand to summon her, and I use Called By to get rid of the Druid Swarm he's trying to summon. And he draws a card again. Oh my god, the Regain is so annoying in this duel. Use Aluber to use Branded Fusion, and I fuse with his Borderland to go into my Mirror Jade again. And from here, he pretty much realizes that he has nothing left, and he's low enough that I can just swing for game. It's over. Oh man. Tons of misplays, but ultimately made it to Plat 1 thanks to this game. And that was some of the matches I had with BYSTIALs, at least the ones I find the most interesting. As you can tell, and I've already mentioned, I've committed several misplays, especially in that last match where I could have gotten Branded Beast and Regained. But overall, yeah, this deck is definitely in a much better state now than it was before, and just having triple Super Poly along with Garura means that you can answer so many very powerful turn 1 boards. Super Poly is just very good. Obviously, against Tearlaments, you might want to... It's not the best board breaker, but between BYSTIALs, you just have a much better chance to go up against them. And that's about it. Please leave a like and a comment if you want to see more, and see you guys next time. Take care.